Hello and welcome to App Follower. Today we're looking at an application called Masque, which allows you to apply really cool photo effects to images using, as the name implies, a mask that you draw with your fingers. Now there are three main tools here: a brush tool, an eraser tool, and a gradient tool. I'm going to start with a brush, and before I draw anything, actually I accidentally just drew something. You can see it goes very easily. But what I wanted to show you is if you go on this, you get a preview of the brush. And you can go and adjust the opacity, and this little circle shows you the size, and then the inner circle shows you the softness. So it gives you a really useful preview. And now you just go and you paint around on your canvas. And now I'm decoloring right now. That's the effect I have selected. You have the effect button down here, and then you have the invert button. So whatever mask you draw, you can invert with this. And let's look at the effects for a second and choose the darken effect maybe. You can see that what I drew before is now the darkened effect. So you only have one mask at a time, but it's really, really easy. So I can actually see people take pictures, put them on their iPad, or send them to their iPad from the iPhone just to do the editing here instead of on the Mac with the mouse where it's not as easy. Let me undo these changes for a second. So you have undo buttons down here and redo buttons, and these actually work after you close the application or go to another document. So when I come back to this image, it will still let me redo and undo any steps that I have done on it, days ago, which is really smart and makes it even easier to use the application. Now, let me go and apply the black and white effect, which I already have, and draw with a smaller brush that is about the size of my finger. And then it really feels like you're just scratching away the color with your finger. That's the great thing about being on a display like that. It feels like you're really interacting with the image. Obviously, I'm not, being very careful here, but you could go and do that cheesy effect where, the background is all colorful, or is all black and white, and then the foreground is colorful. I'm actually gonna try to do that real quick, and obviously I'm not doing a good job at all. You would probably use a larger brush for a little while. And now this is black and white. I just hit the inverse button down here, and this is the basic idea, oops, of that cheesy effect that we all know. Okay, so let me just go back to the starting point here. Another cool tool is the gradient tool. It's the last one in this row down here, this one. And it doesn't actually have any settings. It just goes and applies the effect in a gradient, makes sense. That's the name of the tool. And what you do, however, is really cool. You can have 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4 fingers that do this sort of stuff. You can just go with one, and you can start down here, and you're making 2 points. The starting point where you start to drag, and then wherever you drag to. You can see that the further away I drag from the starting point, the more feathering the gradient gets. Now it's a really short gradient, and you can see how sharp it is. And then if I drag it away from my starting point, it gets more feathered. Now I can also do that with 2 fingers, and then it's a little easier and more dynamic. I can move anywhere on the picture with this gradient, do whatever I want. And this obviously works for all the effects, so you can get some cool stuff. And you can also make it really sharp and give it more of almost a graphical effect. Now what you can also do is use 4 fingers. I'm going to try to do this around the corner. It's not as easy. And then you are manipulating one of the edges of the gradient with 2 fingers each, and you do the different feathers. I'm not doing a very good job because I'm sort of reaching over from the side, But it's a really interesting use of multi-touch, and it makes very interesting edits really, really easy. Now, once you're done editing the photos, let me just show you what you can do with them in the photo gallery. It's saving the document, which right now is still taking a little bit of time, but the developer says they're improving the speed. And I can either use the plus button up here to import new photos from my photo roll. And on the other side you have the manage button, and here you just go and you select the images that you want to manipulate, and you get little green check marks on them. And then you just hit either the trash button to delete them, or save them to your photo library all at the same time, email them out, or share them to Facebook. So you can just put in a caption, log into your account, and upload all those images at the same time, which is really convenient. The application does like a couple of things though. If you are applying an effect, it's the only effect that you can apply at any given time. So whatever I choose here is the only effect I have for this image and for the mask that I've drawn on the image. If you do sort of want to circumvent that, you actually have to go back to your photo gallery, export it to the iPad-wide photo gallery, and re-import it. There's no way of duplicating any of these photos within Masque. However, they have said that in the next version, it will have layers. And that basically takes care of all those issues. So you can go and have multiple effects, I would assume, on multiple layers, and it'll make it a lot more advanced. At the same time, it will hopefully keep its simplicity, and that's really what makes this application so strong. It's super simple to use, and it's natural. You know, a 3-year-old could go and manipulate this. It's the most natural way that I've ever edited a photo. And for that, and in anticipation of the layers feature that's coming up, I would say that this application is really 5 out of 5 stars and completely worth it at $6. I mean, when have you had such an easy way of editing a photo? I can't think of one. So I would really recommend this application. I like it a lot. If you have any questions about this review or about Masque, this application here, then send me an email to info@appfollower.com or say hi on Twitter. It's @appfollower. I'm Alexander Fringes, and I hope this review was useful to you. Have a great day.